Hey friends, today I'm talking about the altruistic narcissistic parent, okay? Altruistic meaning the selfless, the I care so much about you, nobody cares about you more than I do, and everything I tell you is always for your own good. The I do everything for you parent, okay? Now, those sound like really nice things, right? The parent that has your back, the parent that wants to make sure that you have the best advice, the parent that has your best interests at heart, that all sounds awesome if it were true. And that's why it's important to understand the altruistic narcissistic parent, so you don't get fooled and duped by a parent that says one thing but whose actions are completely on a different page. So with that in mind, let's get started. For those that don't know me, my name is Michelle. I'm a life and relationship coach. I'm also the founder of the Thriver School of Transformation, which is a monthly membership where we meet live weekly and we talk about all of this together. So if you feel like that could be helpful on the healing journey, make sure you check it out in the description box. Okay, so how can you tell if your parent really has your back, or if your parent is an altruistic narcissist? Let's first understand why some narcissists take this route, why some become altruistic, okay? So we know that any narcissist, whether it's covert, overt, altruistic, inverted, somatic, cerebral narcissist, no matter what the kind of narcissist that might be in your life, they all have a core base of shame. Okay, so the altruistic narcissist, in order to combat that shame, instead of working through it, right? Instead of uprooting their own limiting belief that was probably installed in childhood and upgrading it, they choose to handle it externally. In other words, they prove to themselves that they are worthy by having other people admire their selflessness. So they act selfless, they act as if they care so much, but the reality is that they're simply trying to alleviate their shame with how you view them. This can be really confusing because your parent should have your back. If your parent gives you advice, it should be with the best intentions at heart. Your parent should want you to be successful and be as happy as you can be. Right? So when a parent says that that's what they want, we want to believe it because it's natural for a parent to be like that. So here are some ways you can tell if your parent is altruistic and is just saying that. The first thing, one way, is to ask yourself, is the person that my parent presents themselves to be the same person that they are behind closed doors? That's my puppy, sorry. Okay, so think about it. An altruistic parent will dote over their child. If something happens to that child, they're like the first ones on the scene and they care so much, and they do this in such an elaborate way that people are left being like, wow, look how much so-and-so loves and cares about their child. However, if the same thing happened without an audience, do they act the same way? If the answer is no, then you're probably looking at an altruistic parent because their caregiving needs to be kind of reflected back by other people telling them how amazing they are. And if they don't have that, it's like there's no care there. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. The next thing to look for is if they expect constant gratitude. I had one client recently tell me, you know, if I don't constantly send messages to my narcissistic mom, like every day, if I'm not constantly saying something amazing about her, then I'm met with the silent treatment, or I'm somehow emotionally punished and made to feel like I'm not enough. Like on a subconscious level, this adult child of an altruistic narcissist learned that I have to be constantly like stroking her ego, constantly letting her know how amazing she is, that to the point that that has to be like something that's ingrained in me on a daily basis. The third thing you can look for is actually look at the advice that your narcissistic parent is giving you. Okay, so for example, something that I've learned and seen in so many of my clients as well is that, especially when it comes to relationships, anyone that the altruistic narcissist, or any narcissist for that matter, kind of points you to is usually not the person that's best for you. And somebody that is really healthy for you, the narcissist makes you feel like they're not good for you. And again, this is because sadly, the narcissist will see your happiness. If you were with somebody that was good for you, that you would actually be happy, and they see your happiness as a threat. So as loving as their counsel is, their advice is, and as interested they are in your happiness, when you really look at the advice they give, it never really is something that helps you in life. It usually sets you back or hinders you. The fourth way you can kind of tell if your parent is an altruistic narcissist is kind of look at their friends. Okay, this is an interesting one, and it's one I wish I had known decades ago. But if they're always with people that need them, that look up to them, as if, you know, I have problems, but so-and-so is so helpful for me. And those are the only people they spend time with. In other words, they're never with someone that is higher emotionally than them, or more successful, or more anything than them. Healthy people tend to surround themselves with people that are as healthy as them or healthier, right? Think about it. Most healthy people want healthy relationships with other people. They don't want codependent relationships. The altruistic narcissist wants codependent relationships. They want people to need them because then they are feeding their ego. They tend to feel really, really uncomfortable with people that don't need them. And anyone that is healthy, they'll tend to try to discredit in an effort to feel better about themselves. So any of your healthy friends, they will criticize and make them feel as if there's something bad about them, so that you become doubtful of them and you exclude anyone in your circle that can be healthy. So it's another way that they can isolate you and keep you kind of dependent on them. And the last thing that I'm going to mention, and of course this isn't an all-inclusive list, but these are just some things that you can look for if you're wondering if you are an adult child of an altruistic narcissist, okay? And the last thing I'm going to mention is if your parent ever makes you feel bad or guilty for doing something for yourself, enjoying things just because you enjoy them, or for choosing to do something that they don't approve of. In other words, if you make a decision just based on you, without asking their permission on what to do, and you as an adult make your own decision, and they criticize it, make you feel like you're a bad child, even though you're an adult, you're a bad child for not listening to them, for not constantly divorcing your own opinions, needs, and wants for what they dictate to you, then that's not healthy. That's not healthy parenting. Once children become adults, a parent has to respect the fact that your child is not going to have the same view of you. Your child is not going to have the same view as you 100% of the time. They are an individual, and they're going to have different views and different thoughts. Some you're going to like, some you may not. And that's normal, and that's okay. And any parent that can't see that is not on the healthy side of the spectrum. So I just wanted to give you guys some tips that could help you determine if maybe you are an adult child of an altruistic narcissistic parent.